So we have we asked the question like, okay, is anybody, who wants to go live? And like Rocky goes, no, he hasn't done it yet, but he really wants to. And Karen says, chicken here. So so I think we've all been chicken. I mean, we all have stories about when we went live for the first time. And then another chicken is present. We have a whole flock of chickens, it seems. That's okay.
Wonderful.
We've got some tips for you. So, and
That's why we're
Jennifer,
here.
by the way, Jennifer Priest, our friend, says she's been going live for a long time at Smart Fun DIY and Smart Creative Social. She does. I love watching Jennifer's lives because she tells it how it is, and I love watching her. And Brian mentioned this. I want to pull this up because he talked about this on Twitter when we were talking earlier today. He goes only on my personal Facebook page when I'm out exploring on a walk. It's easier because I feel like I'm talking to friends, but I don't have to block when I think I'm about doing it for my business. So that's a good point. Like a lot of people I could go live and just like, hey, especially like if you go on, I did one from Hot Springs, Arkansas, because I just got back there. I was testing some equipment out, and that is easy. I mean, you're sharing like a place or an experience with somebody. I was the same way. If you look at all my lives, most of the time I'm with someone. I'm either interviewing somebody or I have a co-host. Ian does a lot of what I call it's like Periscope or Meerkat kind of broadcast when it's just him up there talking and you have to hold the show. That can be really intimidating. So Ian, how did you get over that? Because that's tough. Yeah. I think that's a lot harder holding a show by yourself.
It is, but like I made the decision when I launched my Confident Live marketing show a couple of years ago that I wanted to do a mixture of solo shows and shows with guests on. I love the guest shows because it is a lot easier. It's just like having a conversation. Once you've sorted out the tech, and sometimes the tech can be a little bit more difficult. There's things that you need to realize. You need to test things out when you have a guest. But in terms of like a solo show, the advantage with doing that is that it is you're building your own brand and you're getting people to learn more about you. Whereas if you have a guest on, it's still really useful and great, but it's becomes obviously more about them. I mean, I'm talking about the most important people on your live. The most important people are your viewers, your audience. If you have a guest, the second most important is your guest, and then you're right at the bottom of the pile. But when it comes to a solo show, it is really hard, and I get really nervous with that, much more so. But it's all down to planning. So I will come up with a run of show. I will structure it. I will mention all the things that I want to mention in this. I always recommend start with three main points, and you'll find that you'll talk about that first point. And once you stop thinking about yourself and just get onto the topic, you'll find you'll probably just talk and talk and talk. And then if you have any live viewers, they will ask you questions. Right. And before you know it, like it's 15 minutes into the live. So it's a lot easier than you may think, as long as you plan ahead of time. It's absolutely vital that you have an overall plan of what your show, if you've got a regular show, to have an overall plan of what the show's going to be about. But then on a per episode basis, you need to have a plan. You need to have a structure. You need to know what you're talking about. Don't just press the go live button without thinking about it and just wing it. Some people can do that. I'm not one of those people. I know some people just go live and they just manage to like share amazing things from their brain.
Those are freaks. Those are freaks of nature. Those people aren't really. They are. They're normal. They're not normal.
So are you making an outline to structure what you want to talk about, or is it more detailed than that?
Oh yeah, so I don't recommend writing out a script because then you'll become robotic. I do recommend that you write down the first couple of sentences and the last couple of sentences that you want to say, because something weird happens to your brain. I don't know how you guys feel, but when I press the go live button, my brain goes to mush. And there was one time I actually forgot the name of my show when I started. Actually, you did that today, Jeff. So I put it there, and also the episode number. So I think it was episode 119 today. So in fact, where is it? I've got it. I won't get it because it's down here. But I've got I printed out and I also have it on a teleprompter in front of you. You don't need a teleprompter, but I also print it out just in case my teleprompter breaks. And I have the beginning bit. I have the first sentence that I'm going to say, and then everything else is bullet points My main section is bullet points. And then I also write the last bit of what I say, because I always I start and I end with the same thing, because I think you want to it's important to be memorable. So you want to kind of have, it's almost a bit of branding for the beginning and the ending of the show. So I always put that in. And yeah, I have a structure. So it's important to think about the different audiences for your show, because there are at least 2, possibly 3 different audiences. If you go live, the first people to watch your live are actually from the future. Now, I've not gone completely mad at this point.
Are you sure?
They are.
He's ahead of us in UK time. That's why it's
yeah,
that's true.
That is true. It is true. But you've got your replay audience, the people watching in the future. So you've got to think about them. And I think you want to treat them, you want to address them in the singular. So you want to say to them, thank you, singular, for watching. And it's a very intimate experience, because they're just listening on their own. Whereas you watching live, you can see each other's comments. You can see how many people are watching. It feels more of a community feel. You have joined a little bit later. You may have popped in. So that is more of a party atmosphere. And so you want to talk to them in a more, in the plural. And then if you repurpose your show into a podcast, which is what I do, you've got a third audience, which is, again, from the future and in the singular as well. But the difference with your podcast audience is they can't see anything. So you've got to describe what's going on the screen as well. So so that's why a structure is so important when it comes to your show.